Alright, this is Darren from Treasure Life Family Farms. And that was my beautiful assistant. She's probably going to be helping me on this project today. And this is a Stenner pump. I think the Stenner pumps work on a lot of things, probably different chemicals and stuff in labs and I don't know what. For us, they work is for pumping peroxide into our well water. And why do we pump peroxide into our well water? Well, our well water in our area has sulfur in it. And so when you inject a small amount of peroxide into the line as the water's running, that peroxide bonds with the sulfur molecules. The sulfur molecules then go on to the carbon filter where they get captured. If you don't put the peroxide to make the bonding happen, then the sulfur gets through and then it makes the water just smell bad. It doesn't actually hurt you much, but it doesn't taste as good or it doesn't taste right. And then and it smells. That's the big thing. So this is a Stenner model 85 MHP5. I think this is probably about 3.5 years old, maybe almost 4. Our last house had one that never broke or had any trouble, and we were there for about 10-11 years. So I don't know what made this one decide it was going to have a shorter life, but it did. And this little tube inside is the problem, because there's not normally going to be any moisture droplets in there at all. This is the replacement. This little tube is $32, probably plus a little bit something for the governor. And all it does is just wrap around these rollers in here. So we're going to take this thing apart. I think it's kind of made to come apart and change this, so I think we'll have a good time of it. But I just wanted to walk you down that path, and we'll see how we change that part. Stay tuned. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is crank this bad boy all the way to 10. See how that's wide open now. And on the sides, we're dripping more peroxide. So this could be interesting. I'll show you if it happens, but this peroxide will, it's not the same peroxide that you get in your, for helping heal a cut on your finger or something. This peroxide is, I think it's 8%, and I think the stuff in your bottle of peroxide you use for helping a cut heal or something is like 0.3 or something like that. So this is much stiffer peroxide than you're probably used to, and it'll actually give you a chemical burn on your fingerprints if you get too much of it on there. So I'll try to stay away from it a bit, but if that happens, I'll show you what that looks like. It's not that big of a deal. Now, on this, we want to dry this up and clean it up. But not only is this the base of the unit, this is a tool that, see these 3 impressions here? They're going to go on these 3 bolts to what they call collapse or expand this roller set. So then in here, this looks like it's got a little lube on it, and we're going to kind of leave that alone because that's aqua grease or something like that we don't have. And so I figured, well, it saves you about $150 service call to do this yourself. So we just went and got the part, and then if we want to collapse this first, so we're going to go counterclockwise. We want to get our little tool on the three bolt heads. We're going to turn counterclockwise, and They say give it a quick snap, and I think I just turned the motor, so there it goes. That's how that worked. And it looks like it's 90%. Let me just give it a little bit more. The wrench is a little goofy, but I guess it was. I guess it's collapsed. So there we are, we're collapsed. And then this should slide right out, I think is the new deal. Yeah, and it does. Isn't that good? Now, can we see where... oh, well, maybe here. Let's just say it's not super obvious where the hole is. Let me dry that off and, nope. I don't know. I mean, that has to be the problem because there's liquid and moisture inside there. So let's take the roller set out. Looks like there's some aqua grease on there too, so we're gonna leave that alone. And then we want to make sure the rollers just roll real nice. There's not supposed to be a lot of grease on all this, so I'm gonna clean this up. I don't know why we've got a residue on this one roller. Anyways, so we're gonna clean that up. I'll stop the video for a little bit while I sit here and wipe this all down with a diaper and get it all nice and pretty. And then we'll be back. We'll put it back together with the new hose. All right, so we're kind of ready to go back together. I took this thing off. We're shining it up. It just rides on the 3 posts here. You line it up to go through the big hole, and then when you get them all 3 on there, you twist it just a little bit and it locks into place. So let's do that, like that right there. That just turns into spot right there. Are we fully in? Yeah, that's it. And then, oh, you see my fingers are turning white here, and they're starting to tingle a little bit. That's the chemical burn. Let's see. This roller thing goes on with the screw side out. I believe there's a kind of a keyway looking thing right there. And then, with that all collapsed, we one-handedly put our hose in here. So we're going to push it all the way up, and we want to kind of make sure the back is also mostly up. And what we're going to do with this is put the cap on, and then we're going to run this thing for a couple minutes with it just like that, just to start to get used to that tube being in there. To me, it looks like with this thing collapsed and the tube in there that we're really not going to be doing anything. It almost looks like it's not even going to run on the rollers. So let me get it started up and I'll show you what that looks like. I got to just plug it into electricity here. All right. Since we're not going to listen to that for a minute or two on the camera, I just want to point out that for whatever reason, it really is that loud. And thankfully it's in the basement and not, you know, right next to my pillow at night or whatever when the water goes off. But yeah, it makes that noise in the basement all the time. And this thing's on pressure control switch, so when all the water in the house is off, then this doesn't do anything. I mean, it just stops like this. And then as soon as somebody uses the sink water or whatever, it senses that there's some water flow and it turns on and starts pumping some peroxide. So that's how that works. It takes about 5 gallons a month if this thing runs all the time, but I'll tell you why ours doesn't here in the next segment. So we're on the home stretch here with this pump. We ran it for a couple minutes with it set like that and having the claw or the rollers open. So now I need to unbuckle this again, take our head off. Now here's a kind of slick thing they did. They made this the keyway to blocking, oops, my cord's hung up here, to blocking the motor so that the motor doesn't turn while you do this next part. So you stick it in that little keyway there. Oh, almost dropped it. Now what we want to do this time is we want to expand the rollers out. So we put this on, we're going to go clockwise this time. And I believe, yeah, just like that. So see how the rollers are now expanded out, and there's a little click, which I think means we did the right thing. So now we bring our little latchy thing back over here, put our head back on, and we want to run it a minute or two like this apparently as well, all snapped into place, and then we're going to go put it back where it goes and run it. So that's kind of the end of the video on this. And in fact, not quite the end. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to show you, because see how this tube is lined up right now? When we start running it, if it's not lined up, you can turn this, I guess, and so if it's running too low or too high, you turn this just a little bit one direction or another, and it will move. It'll actually move it up. But I think we're all set, because I don't know, it looks straight now. Let's see what happens when we turn it on. I'll plug it in. And flip the switch. Ours is running, I would say, perfectly level or straight or whatever. I'm going to crank this back to about 5. I think that's, we had it at 5 or 6 before. And we'll just run it one more time. And everything looks like it's running really good. The tube is in its normal center spot. You notice when you turn it back to 5, it's at 10, it runs and stops and runs and stops. And that's the design, because 5 is less pumping than 10, and if we turn it down to 1 or 2, it's going to go even less. So as a homeowner on a peroxide well system, you don't want to necessarily burn through extra peroxide. The stuff is about $37 or so for a 5-gallon jug. And they're heavy, so if you don't want to be packing a lot of that to the basement, then don't run this any more than you have to. And then the expense of it, if you don't want to be spending more on peroxide than absolutely necessary, then you want to just have it tuned enough to take care of your peroxide problem, or your sulfur problem. But if you're having sulfur in your water, and it's in your dishwasher, and your clothes washer, and in the shower, turn it up. Burn some more peroxide, capture more of the sulfur, and be happy. So that's kind of how this process works. The only last thing, and I'm not going to show this, is when I take it downstairs to put it back on the wall, there's a bracket bolted to the wall, and this just slides down through it, and then it hangs there. I hooked the 2 tubes up, which are just also very simple. They just hook up to those 2 ports, and we're all done, and I'm going to try it out and see if it works. All right, thank you. Bye.